Jason, it's nice to meet you again after 1 year.
Yeah.
I just still remember the nice incident you had the last year with my colleague and his mobile.
His password, yeah.
And the password. Just hope that it's not going to be a case of my mobile this year.
And I believe it was the right password, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, I hope that everything is running okay. Also, the Safenet and its activities are running fine.
Yep.
It's nice to meet you again here. We have a couple of questions for you. So first is that some times ago you just said that we are living in a virtual age. Yeah. And you talked in this context about the confidentiality, integrity, availability, accountability, and auditability.
Yep.
Yeah. How can organizations determine their security priorities? Are these topics comprehensive and indivisible?
Yeah. So the biggest problem with most organizations at the moment is, they're spending money on information security, IT security, but they don't actually know what they're trying to protect. Everyone spends money on the perimeter, but majority of the time when I speak to most organizations and I say, what is it you're trying to protect? They don't really know the answer. The answer is data. So what data are you trying to protect in your business? So once you can understand what data you're protecting, you can apply the appropriate controls. So those controls in basic information security principles are confidentiality, integrity, availability, accountability, and auditability. So the first thing for any business is to understand what data is at risk, i.e. if they were to be breached, what would the impact on certain types of data be to the business, and then align that to confidentiality, integrity, availability, and accountability. So first priority for any business is understand what they are trying to protect. In pretty much every single case, it's data. That data now is everywhere. It's not just residing in the business, it's in the cloud and it's in virtual environments. So the way we protect that data has to be different.
Okay, thank you. Could you describe the third age of hacking?
Yeah.
And who has invited the label?
So I've been in information security for almost 20 years now, and I've seen so many things evolve, come back, the same threats, but just bigger attack vectors. So I came up with this concept about 7-8 years ago on different stages of the hacking, how it's evolving. So really the first stage was modems, using modems to dial in and breach organizations. Took longer. It kind of worked. There was pretty much no security at that point. Then we went to the second era, which was using the web browser. The internet exploded, and things became a bit quicker for the attackers to target and breach organizations. And then I kind of coined the third stage, the virtual hacking. We're in a virtual world now, and then to breach any organization, all you need is their password. And as I've proven to you guys before, it takes seconds to compromise a password. So we're in this third generation of in a virtual world with virtual hacking.
Okay, thank you. So, what would you recommend to the companies that are trying to accelerate the security, cloud and virtualizations initiatives? What are the risks?
So, any organization now looking, everyone's evolving how they're doing business. So essentially any business now, or in fact all businesses are considering or moving to virtualization in the cloud. So my recommendation very, very simply would be, at a minimum, you need to be doing two-factor authentication, okay? So who's accessing your data? You need to apply two-factor authentication. As you've seen before, if you don't have two-factor authentication, you can be breached in minutes. Secondly is, when you're storing data in the cloud or in virtual environments, you need to be encrypting that data, okay? So in the event that that data is compromised, it's rendered useless. But not only encrypting the data, you need to be doing key management as well, and doing appropriate key management controls, storing the key outside of the data. So for me, any organization doing those basic 3 principles, two-factor authentication, encryption, and key management, can be very, very comfortable in ensuring that their data is secure in a virtual environment or in the cloud.
Thank you. Safenet is also specialized in authentication. And how do you feel, or what is the potential of authentication as a service in a global market? And are these services safer than the traditional products?
That's right. Safenet are the world leaders in authentication. The growth and the adoption of cloud-based authentication is phenomenal. You know, it's growing on an annual, if not monthly basis. All types of organizations now are moving their authentication to the cloud. Why are they doing this? They're doing it because it's simple, it's easy, it's automated, it just works, it just happens. And then from a cost model point of view, it's an as a service, yeah? Also, compared to an on-premise solution, it's easier to maintain, the cost of ownership is minimal, but also the security around it as a service offering from Safenet is far more secure than a normal organisation would normally have by hosting their own authentication platform. The Safenet authentication platform has hardware security modules, it has ISO 27001 standards. So fundamentally, the as-a-service model is the only way to go, and the adoption is phenomenal. Gartner actually predict by 2017 more than 70% of organizations globally would have taken cloud-based authentication.
So do you think it's kind of more easily to get for smaller companies, or?
Yeah. So originally, when I first started out creating the authentication as a service, initially we thought it would just be small SME businesses. In fact, what we're seeing is global organizations, global enterprises adopting the cloud-based authentication service. But also we're seeing smaller business, like in the Czech Republic region, adopting the cloud-based authentication service because it's easy for them to consume, deploy, and enable without minimal impact to their infrastructure and having to create their own infrastructure. So for emerging markets like the Czech, it's a great offering, and as you've seen, let's eradicate this static passwords, because it's the first means of attack for a bad guy.
Super. Thank you very much.